we'll officially start the open house here and now. And our time together, we'll see how long we'll take. I will spend perhaps like 20 minutes or so going through the curriculum, and we'll really look at everything that's on offer and all of the new and exciting branches of health. Because when we look at what's out there in existence, and Institute for Integrative Nutrition is the first. Welcome to anyone new coming in. Welcome. Institute for Integrative Nutrition is the most famous, let's say, school that's teaching any of this thought or philosophy about holistic health and certifying in it. And again, as we said just a moment ago, there is no certification body, so none of the certifications are going to be government regulated or anything like that. And the nature of this participation right now of all of you, and if you're just coming in, you can mute your mics as well. All of you are all over the world. And so as we said, the joy of this course is that it is mostly online, although it does have about 10 to 20% in-person requirements as well, for different aspects, which we'll talk through. And because of its distance education basis, you have an ability to have a young child, or to be home, or to work a full-time job, or whatever it might be. And however, the distance part of it does not mean that we are compromising on the value really in it. And so the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, to begin with, it talks a lot about food. It really focuses on food. There's very little in their curriculum about fasting, which anyone who's been inspired by the Institute for Aliveness's work knows that fasting is a key portal and part of what we do. And lifestyle practices at the end of the day. I'm a natural hygienist. And so looking about, the 12 doctors that are more powerful than any other doctor you can see in this camera. You can see the C. That's the C, right? And so fresh air, right? Water, sleep, sunshine, right? Laughter or joy in your life, as well as food is just a teeny little part of this greater picture of living a healthy life. So of course, whereas a course could spend most of its time talking about nutrition, which in my opinion is a fallacy of a science. It's way too narrow-minded, and it ignores not only the soil that the food was grown in, but how long it took since the food was cut from the land and brought to the grocery store, how long it was on the grocery store shelves, what temperature it was at, right? Whether it was a hybrid or whether it was an organic seed that was planted. And then when it finally comes to you to eat, how did you prepare it? How did you cook it or not? What was it cooked with? When you were eating it, how well did you chew it? Who were you eating with? What was your mood then, right? How long did it take you? What else was in your stomach? What else did you eat it with? When you were digesting it, did something immediately happen where you got a crazy phone call and all of a sudden you had to go, right? And then once it went through, your body itself, how available was your body to absorb the nutrition from the food? Yeah. How long did it take before you pooped it out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? How hydrated were you during that whole process? So nutritional science is a fallacy because it just looks at a model version of an apple, which isn't real, right? And its nutritional components and some apparent vitamin mineral complex that it has or doesn't have. And so nutritional science, not only do we know this much of the actual breadth of what could exist in terms of vitamins and minerals, but also it doesn't take into account the earth body and the human body that's digesting this food or producing this food. And so when you take like a nutrition course, it's like you're looking at one key on the piano and saying that you can play a sonata. It's just not true, right? So to be truly holistic in your health and truly have a deeper understanding of the human body and what it is to be a human in the 21st century world, we need more. And so that's why this course exists. It exists to offer you more, and it exists for sure to not tell you what to think ever. I never want to tell you what to think. That's completely uninspiring, but rather teach you how to think and what questions to ask. And so, that's what gets me going. And that's what this entire course is about. So with that said, right, with that little introduction about what is out there now, very, very little, the fact that a lot of it focuses on food and nutrition, and for sure the psychology of food, which is an important part. However, you can't really learn anything without fasting. and looking at the psychology of fasting, because that's what teaches you about the psychology of food. So it's like, what's out there is a teeny tiny little, it's like that one keyboard key. And we're going to start to learn the whole piano and how to play it. And so in this course, perhaps I'll start with the 4 different sections. Yeah. So we're looking at first the body. And the body and biohacking will definitely be a huge part of this curriculum. We will have different semesters, and in timing, so I'll back up and I'll go big picture meta. In timing, what we'll look at is that this program will take at least a year and a half. Yeah, that's the fastest that you can do it. So maybe we'll say that's 18 months, yeah, if not 24 months. And if you need 36 months, you can take 36 months for it. It's kind of at your own pace, but more or less the fastest you can do it will be that 18-month time period. And the reason for that is because of the necessity of the in-person. We have 2 in-person requirements. One of them is a retreat with your whole graduating class. So this first 30 people, 20 to 30 people that I'll be taking in January 2020. Hopefully you guys will be part of that class. And if I get way more applications, then I will select. I won't take in 40 people. It's just, you know, it's the first time doing this. I want to give you guys the highest standard possible, and I want us to be a little intimate family. And so in this first graduating class, we will have a retreat, probably in Spain, in the eastern mountains of Spain. I went there to check it out and spend some time this summer. And so it's a beautiful off-grid location with fresh spring water and incredible sunshine, fresh breeze, like mountain, ocean, everything you could ever want. And again, all of that's included in the cost. So it's not like there's an extra retreat fee. Yeah. So it's an off-grid retreat where we're just kind of dropping in to ourselves, and we're going to start to discuss everything that's going on. And it's just like an in-person, that's really our juice of it, that juicy week. And so that'll be about June next year. And then we will have an in-person colon hydrotherapy training. And so this is really important. And I've already gotten questions from some of you who have been interested in the course, wondering about the colon hydrotherapy training. You're like, well, I don't know. I don't want to be a colon hydrotherapist. Do I really have to come to the training? I don't see that as a part of my career. And my answer is 100% yes. It is a required part of this course, because let's look at like me and my career. I have learned the most from the clinic, from the colon hydrotherapy clinic. You cannot say that you know anything about what goes on in the body until you see what comes out of it. Yeah. And so that practicum, not only for yourself to experience colonics in your own life, that's huge, because detoxification is nothing if we don't look at what comes out. Yeah. But to see it on other people's bodies and see how the body responds. It's a very intimate getting to knowing of the digestive system. And so again, if we're talking about nutrition, right, you can't know anything about nutrition if you don't have a certain kind of mastery of the digestive system. And so the colon hydrotherapy training, again, is absolutely necessary. We learn so much about the nervous system, so much about psychology, so much about bedside manner. There are so many other parts that are emotional intelligence that come along with the colon hydrotherapy training. It's not just therapeutic practicum. It's way more. And so there'll be one this year, this December 1st to 7th in Delhi in India. And so if anyone wants to get started even before our intake in January, like if you think next year is going to be busy, or if you're looking at traveling to Asia this winter or anything like that, we will have one in December 1st to 7th in January. In Delhi, December 1st to 7th, that's December. And then we start our course in January. And you can take one if someone's watching this and you're not interested in doing the whole course, but you just want to do the colon hydrotherapy course, you can do that. And then if later down the line you want to do the whole course, you can have the colon hydrotherapy training with me count towards the course, that's fine. But as we go with the Holistic Health Coach, the Institute of Aliveness Holistic Health Coach certification course, which will last at least 18 months, if not 24, it does have that in-person retreat and in-person colonics training. And each of them are roughly a week, depending upon travel time there and out. So with that said, we will look into the curriculum. So it does have these 3 specific parts of body, biohacking. That's the first module or the first semester. Mind, cogna hacking, looking at the psychology, not only of yourself, not only food psychology, not only of your prospective clients, but of coaching, right? I've already recorded. This was the very first part I made of this course, and I did it more than 2 years ago now. I can't believe it. But I made a full 12-part series of coaching, right? It's completely unreleased. This is material that I didn't learn from anywhere. It's not like you're learning Tony Robbins' coaching course. It's not something that's cut and dry. This is like deep empathy, empathetic mastery of how to work with people in these situations where we're not giving a specific diet regime and all of these other techniques and tools that holistic health coaches use, where it's like, here, I prescribe you this, do this, and you'll get these results. And it's not taking into account the fact that that's incredibly disempowering. Perhaps one of the most disempowering things that you could do to someone is hand them a prescription of a diet and tell them to follow it, right? What we work with is deep lifestyle transformation, where someone like takes inventory of their entire life. So it's not only their food cabinet or their refrigerator or their exercise routine, right? It's their relationships and the air that they're breathing in their house and the colors that they wear and the way that they spend their time. It's a deep lifestyle overhaul. And so depending upon where you are, if you're in like Idaho, people might not be into that, right? In the middle of nowhere. Maybe it's Andhra Pradesh, or maybe it's somewhere in like middle Puglia. I don't know, but you'll start to tailor your practice to where people are. So if people want nutrition, sure, you can advertise yourself as a nutritionist. Why not? No problem. Yeah. But when you get down to it, what we're really doing here is deep lifestyle change, because at the end of the day, that's the only thing that works. Unless you create transformation in the individual that you're working with, the change that you make in their life isn't going to last. And that's the deep work where people come back to you and say, I can't tell you how much you've changed my life. Right? That is the feedback that I get time and time again from endless amounts of clients. And so that's what I'm setting you guys up for, is that deep level of inspiration. And so again, I'll say, this is not a course about telling you what to think. It's not a course where I give you a bunch of information and you have to take a bunch of notes. This is a course about knowing what questions to ask, and rather knowing how to think, how to work with people, right? Because you'll be thrown into situations that you didn't expect. And when you're in those situations, all of a sudden you'll know how to handle them. It'll be like magic because you've done your own work. And so I'll also take a step back and say that this course, more than anything, is your up level. Right? This is your chance to change your own life so that you show up as an inspiration and as an example to the people with whom you're going to work. Does that make sense? Because that's big. So with this, the first semester is the body. All right. The second semester is the mind. And then the third semester, we get into consciousness and the spirit. We get into things like psychosomatics. We get into your own self-practice. We get into things like psychedelic medicine, which is more and more every day a bigger topic. And it is a field that I'm getting more and more involved in. And that will be an integral part of this course because it is the future of medicine, especially of holistic medicine. And so like this stuff, again, has never been offered before. So then you're going to have a whole semester where you're doing your own practicum. And so that's practicum of your own fasting practice. That's practicum of shadowing me in the fasting retreats online, and starting to see really the evidence and the data of how people react to fasting. That is practicum shadowing someone near you. So you will have in-person practicum wherever you are. So if you're in Sydney, Australia, or if you are in Paris, or if you are in Rio de Janeiro, it doesn't matter. You will be working with a herbalist, or you will be working with an integrative medicine specialist, or a Chinese medicine specialist, or a chiropractor, or a massage therapist. Whatever modality you want to start to specialize in, you are going to find someone in your local community and shadow them. And you're not going to necessarily agree with everything you see them do. In fact, I'm likely probably going to teach you things that contradict directly things that you'll see them do. And you'll bring it to class and we'll talk about it in class. And that's how you learn to be an excellent practitioner, because it's not about right and wrong and good and bad answers. It's about understanding the context of why people do what they do. Yeah, so their motive, their intent, how it's carried out, how they do it, how much emotional awareness or general awareness was involved in it, and then the result or the outcome of whatever has done. So that is hands-on working with a practitioner, or a way to speak to a practitioner, whatever it might be, to a client, sorry. And so you'll have those parts which are on your own. You'll have to write a thesis at the end of this program. And this is like, I'm an academic. I don't know if you guys knew that, but like, I have a doctorate, right? I went through a whole master's degree. I was in academia. I used to present at academic conferences. And so the intellectual nature will be there. It will very much be a part of this. And that's something that, the yoga movement and the holistic health movement haven't really taken, because they see that, oh yeah, but the mind is just one part and it's really about energy and we have to understand this energetically and all these things. And I'm like, yeah, okay, but at the end of the day, you're gonna turn in a freaking paper. So whereas that might scare some of you, if it does, we can talk about that. And if you'd rather do an oral report, or like, I'm super flexible, but it will be rigorous academia in that you are intaking a lot of information and you will be asked to digest that information and produce something new that's never been seen before. And that is the joy, the value, the glory of true academia, is when you're not only citing what other people have done and regurgitating their ideas, but rather you're having your own ideas, your own new ideas, and you're offering up into the world new concepts and new ways of working with clients, or new understandings of psychosomatics, or whatever it might be. So, woo, Andy, take a breath. Everyone, water break. Get some water wherever you are. Stretch, do a stretch. You guys can see how class will be. Yeah? So there's a lot here. You will have to shadow 5 full fasting retreats. So do know that, which is really exciting actually, because that's going to be something like 100 clients that you get to work with directly. Yeah, by the end of your course, supervising them through fasting. So that in and of itself is tremendous growth and depth of your understanding of what fasting does. And again, fasting is the backbone of natural hygiene. It's the backbone of everything we do here. So super significant. All right. So, alas, where are we? Yeah, I'm going to make you guys work out. You're going to have to, it's like you're going to be physically training for a triathlon as well. So if you're out of shape, if anything, enrolling in this course will get you in shape. Because it is the utmost responsibility. It's like nothing in your life will be allowed to be compromised. And if you say, oh, I can't do this, or I can't make time, or whatever, you are your future clients. So working through this, you have to work through it on your own to make this uber healthy, superhuman activated life possible. And then all those hacks that you find, you'll be able to work with clients in your future. Does that make sense? It's significant. This is a transformation program of you, because you will only be able to serve people from embodiment. You will never be able to serve them from reading a bunch of books, getting a certification, and then giving advice. It's from your own aliveness and from your own experience that you will be able to offer. And that's what counts, and that's what lasts. And I wouldn't be interested. Like I will be quite fine if someone comes through the program and does not show up fully and does not have a transformation. I'll be like, thank you so much. I love you. And you're not getting certified. It's just like, I have no problem saying that, because I'm setting the bar high and I'm asking you guys to meet it, to jump over it, to show me that you can do even more, and when we do that, when we engage in that way, you get so much more out of it and you show up so much more for it. So, yeah, I'm not an easy teacher, but I'm a fun teacher and I'm a fair teacher. Yeah. So, yeah. All right. So do we have any questions? I'll take a breath. You can turn on your mic, Pierre, Alyssa, Florina, anyone watching out here. Any questions?